It's Murderville. What is up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel. Still under the weather, but you know what? I have an obligation to get you guys a review for the brand new series on Netflix. That is Murderville. I had no clue what this was. Didn't know a lot of it was improv. Once I looked into it, I got more excited for it. And of course, this cast is awesome. So we're going to talk about what this show is all about and if it's worth you guys watching on Netflix. Let's get into it. We have Senior Detective Terry Seattle, played by Will Arnett, Homicide Division. For Terry, every day means a new murder case and a new celebrity guest as his star partner. But here's the catch. Each episode's guest star isn't being given a script. They have no clue what's going to happen to them. Together, the guest star and Terry Seattle will have to improvise their way through the case. But it will be up to each celebrity guest alone to name the killer. Join them as they punch a one-way ticket to Murderville. It's a 6-episode procedural crime comedy. It premieres globally on Netflix February 3rd, based off of the BAFTA award-winning BBC 3 series Murder in Successville, which is something I've been seeing a lot on Twitter. There's already a show like this. Is this going to be able to capitalize? And I can't speak upon that show. All I can do is talk about Murderville, and a very intriguing concept, especially when you have Will Arnett, someone at the forefront who feels like he would be good at improvising or helping improvise a lot of these situations. And from the first episode alone, with Conan O'Brien, I thought the perfect way to get us into this world, because he's an eccentric guy. It feels like he would work well in a situation like this, and he does. You get an idea as to what this show's going to be, and not everyone's going to be on board if you find this type of humor to fall flat, and even moments where, yes, they break character, and it's left in the show. Now, that's not something that everyone's going to be on board with, but I have always found those moments, whether it be a behind-the-scenes look at a show or a movie, something like an SNL, when you have people laughing, trying to get through that line of dialogue. Leaving that in a show like this is the perfect way to go about it, because some of these situations and some of these suspects are so ridiculous, it's almost impossible not to laugh. And we see a lot of our guest stars, and occasionally, it's very rare in this series, occasionally Will Arnett will even break character because of the situation that he's in. Those were my favorite moments of this series. They were so funny. A couple of times Marshawn Lynch does it. Kumail Nanjiani, who I thought would be the one not to break character, he actually did it more than anyone in this show. So that was kind of shocking. But let's talk about the celebrity guests within each episode. Like I said, we start out with Conan O'Brien, who actually may have been my favorite one. I know he's the one to kind of get you into it all, but he embraces the madness, maybe more so than any of the others. I was so excited to see Marshawn Lynch. He may not have worked as well as some of the actual actors, but you could tell he was having so much fun in the role, and he has such a lively personality. It stuck extremely well. Then we have someone like Annie Murphy. We know she can bring the comedy. Sharon Stone, which was crazy to see. Ken Jeong, who we know is going to be hilarious. And Kumail Nanjiani, who was so much more subdued than maybe I wanted him to be. His episode was mildly disappointing because of that overall, but there were definitely some moments where that subdued humor kind of took over the scene specifically and made it stand out as one of the funnier scenes. So there were a lot of ups, not as many downs with the episodes, but when there were downs, I found them to be a bit disappointing. And with all humor, with all comedy, it is absolutely 100% as subjective as it gets, especially with improv. So this is going to be one of those shows that is going to hit really hard for some people. Then others are just going to be like, this is not my style. And that's okay at the end of the day. But I do like the idea of a loose plot thread, and then bringing us suspects, every episode having a different group of suspects. One in particular was hilarious because they used the same actor, but the way they go about those suspects and actually giving us a somewhat compelling murder mystery in almost all of the episodes. They could have went the cheap route and just been so lazy with the mystery of it all. But since your special guest is going to have to be the one to figure out this mystery, and if they get it wrong, they are told they are wrong. So not all of the guest hosts are right, but it's their job to connect the clues. But it's kind of hard to do that when Will Arnett's in your ear saying the most ridiculous things that are just so funny. at points, and it's the interactions, the chemistry, or even lack thereof. And they're even tackling these storylines underneath our main storylines, a divorce in the midst of this police station, Will Arnett's character going through a lot of emotional things that continue to escalate with every episode. So in that way, it is a scripted series, but each guest host is completely unaware of what they're in for, and you can tell they're unaware. And again, when they break character, I found that to be the best part of the show. I think my biggest issue with this show is the fact that some of the bits become repetitive at the end of the day, or they'll just go on too long. There was one in the Kumail Nanjiani episode that just kept going, and I felt like there was a good opportunity to cut to the next scene. And there were a few times when the same joke would come about once more, and it just didn't quite work as well that time as it did the first 2 to 3 times. So before I give you guys my score, thanks for bearing with me and my voice. If you guys enjoyed this review and you like what we're doing on this channel, drop your thumbs up to support it. This definitely isn't everyone's style of humor, but to see each guest host come in and add their unique sense of humor is great. It has a ton of potential to catch on. That's why I'm going a 75% with my score. For the most part, even the jokes that didn't fully land, I appreciated what they were trying to do. This is just, it's the kind of show that speaks to me, creativity throughout, and allowing these guest hosts, these big-time actors for the most part, to come in and add their own unique style. That is really cool. Thanks again for joining me. Stay tuned. Moonfall, if I can get through that review. And hopefully Jackass. See you soon.